Yes, Jah people, this is Michael Shamai representing. I will say, Hail the Lion voice, saying it is time for the lions and the lionesses to tell their own story. King David killed Goliath with a stone, we original dread. The fittest of the fittest shall survive. My people, open your eyes, wake up. Blessed love, this is Queen Omega representing for all lions and lionesses. With the lion's voice, we come to tell our story. Ras Tafari, live it. Hey, the lion's voice, Ras Tafari.
So like, the to be in medical school and you like really melanated like myself,
Yes.
right? You have to be like extremely good.
Okay.
And then the people that the black, I don't say black people, the more melanated people like I and I, these people will be like nurses and this different type of professions within the medical complex. But then within the cadre of people in Cuba, and you could see the level of poverty and you could see everything.
Wow.
So, and even like going through the process of medical school in Cuba, just for you to pass, you have to deny the existence of God.
Oh, wow.
Like in philosophy, because philosophy is about Marxist and Lenin,
Okay, so they teach that in the university. Okay.
So
This is the first time I'm getting this perspective on Cuba, because we always hear about Che Guevara. We don't hear about how the black people in Cuba, from a black Rastafari perspective. So this is very fascinating.
Man, Cuba was a place they persecute Rastaman terrible.
Man.
For a seed of ganja, you get 10 years,
A seed?
Right? For a seed, you get 10 years, and I left Cuba because, been very, I would say that I learned to trust my senses and, and know how the Creator communicates with me. And then nothing really, for me, I always put my liberty first.
Yes.
There's never a question. You cannot tell me about my liberty. So like while I was in medical school in Cuba, they tell me, well, because you're going to surgery, now, you have to take off your turban, and I tell them what? So I had a conversation with them and I told them, well, I mean, obviously, when you're going into surgery as a surgeon, you have to cover your hair, don't you?
Yes.
So why would you take off my turban just because I have to go into surgery? And that don't make sense. So having a turban is even more appropriate. Yeah.
The year is 1892, and the land of Ethiopia has been experiencing 4 years of terrible famine and drought. They call it the Kikuken, or the evil days. At least 1/3 of the human population and 90% of the cattle have died. The hyenas have feasted on so many carcasses that they have become overweight and barely able to move. Just when the people could take no more of the evil days, a woman named Wasiro Yeshimabet is giving birth in a place called Erjersa Gora. This is her 9th attempt to bring forth new life. Her previous 8 attempts only resulted in death. Will this child live? Thankfully, a healthy baby boy is born. His first cries are drowned by thunder and lightning flashes across the night sky. The heavens open up and torrential rain starts to fall. Ethiopia's drought is over, and the baby boy is given the name Tafari, meaning one to be feared or respected. Lich Tafari's father, Ras Makunin, is a very important man in 1892 Ethiopia. Although he is overjoyed at the birth of his newborn son, he cannot spend much time with him. Ras Makunin is the governor of Harar and must get back to the famous walled city to deal with its affairs. Furthermore, he is the foreign minister of Ethiopia, and having traveled to different places in Europe, he is very aware of the material and military advances they have made and the looming threats they pose to his country. Ras Makunin knows that the majority of Ethiopians have no idea what is coming, and that he has to work that much harder to secure the realm. Ras Tafari would grow up to become the legendary emperor, Haile Selassie I. To understand his journey, we must first understand the Ethiopia that he was inheriting and what it was like when he was born in 1892. Get your copy of Kwesi Bansu's book, Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1, The Rise of the Priestly Warrior Kings, and increase your knowledge about the history, politics, and culture of Ethiopia in 1892, and how it connects to the rest of African and world history at the time. Haile Selassie I, Ethiopia, Volume 1 is available for purchase at www.bookmanexpress.pub. Please visit for more information.
How did what was it like going to medical school, as a Bobo Shanti priest, and then what was that experience like being you said you were in Cuba?
Well, I mean, it was a good experience. Cuba made me very militant.
Okay.
Because so many people would perceive that the Cuban regime was like a beautiful, great regime, and I spent 3 years in Cuba. I didn't even finish my medical school thing in Cuba. I did that at the American University of Antigua College of Medicine.
Okay.
So when I went into Cuba, the time I was in Cuba, everything in Cuba is pork. Every single thing. So you're in a country where I went there up there 5 bags, and all the bags were just food, because you really can't food and roots and backs and different things. When I went the first time and the second time, so I had to be going home 2-3 times a year. When you're in Cuba, you're not even supposed to travel that much. Once a year you're traveling, because
yeah,
like communist regime. So when you live in the country, you must get what you call a salida. You have to get permission to fly, even if you're not a citizen. Even if you're in the school, you have to write, give reason, and then they give you a salida for you to come out. So Cuba was a place whereby I saw the oppression of people that look like me. To the extent that you could literally just see it, like in medical school, everyone is blanco because el negro, negrito. So like the to be in medical school and you like really melanated like myself.
Yes.
Right? You have to be like extremely good. Okay. And then the people that the black, I don't feel black people, the more melanated people like I and I, these people will be like nurses and these different type of professions within the medical complex. But then within the cadre of people in Cuba, and you could see the level of poverty and see everything.
Wow.
So, and even like going through the process of medical school in Cuba, just for you to pass, you have to deny the existence of God.
Oh, wow.
Like in philosophy, because philosophy is about Marxist and Lenin.
Okay, so they teach that in the university. Yeah, okay.
So
this is the first time I'm getting this perspective on Cuba, because we always hear about Che Guevara. We don't hear about how the black people in Cuba, from a black Ras Tafari perspective. So this is very fascinating.
Man, Cuba was a place they persecute Rastaman terrible.
Yeah, man.
For a seed of ganja, you get 10 years,
A seed?
For a seed, you get 10 years, and I left Cuba because, being very, I would say that I learned to trust my senses and know how the Creator communicates with me. And then nothing really, for me, I always put my liberty first.
Yes.
There's never a question. You cannot tell me about my liberty. So like while I was in medical school in Cuba, they tell me, well, because you're going to surgery, now, you have to take off your turban, and I tell them what? So I had a conversation with them, and I told them, well, obviously, when you're going into surgery, as a surgeon, you have to cover your hair, don't you?
Yes.
So why would you take off my turban just because I have to? And that don't make sense.
Yeah,
So having a turban is even more appropriate. Yeah.
yes.
Right? Even to the extent I told them, because even if they so anti-Western world, they love the Pope. So the Pope does still visit Cuba and
Okay, yes.
yeah, very Catholic, very Jesuit. So when you really check it out, you check well. I think all the time the Pope come and you'll never tell him take off his hat. You'll tell me to take off my turban to get an education. If I tell him no, I would never do that. Same way you all fought a revolution for your freedom, I'm willing to fight a revolution for my own freedom and I am valuing my culture. So I say that.
How was that received? How was that received?
They just left me alone.
Okay.
I never get trouble with because I was a top performer. So it's not like as if, I never get into trouble because I'm doing my thing. I'm not troubling nobody. So they couldn't find something against me, even if, I was still using my urban thing. Right? So during that time, like second year, the spirit tell me, man, you need to come out of that place. So I applied for my salida and they gave it to me the same day. So then me and the Empress, my Empress, she left with me. And another brethren, I tell him, man, I had a terrible vision, So I left and I met my Empress in Cuba. She was in medical school also, so I left and she followed me. It was about what, 17, 18,
So is your Empress is from Cuba originally?
No, she's from Antigua.
Antigua. Okay, give thanks.
Yeah. So through all that is when I just spoke because just give me the salida, and that day in the cafeteria, they just started to blast a song. Every little thing is gonna be alright. In a non-sympathetic stance towards Ras Tafari.
Yes.
And in the hall of the school, blasting. Every little thing is gonna be alright. Because it's the last day. So I left Cuba, and after I left Cuba, I probably left there on a Monday, and by the Thursday I got another scholarship into another medical school.
Okay.
So, and then I still went into another medical. So like my life has been one whereby, right, I always put my instinct first, my intuition, my faith, and the brethren and them that went back into Cuba. In fact, they tested the urine, and some of them were 4th year, 5th year, just missing 1 year to graduate. Talk about Rastaman, And they send them back home.
Oh wow!
Right?
So you left right time.
Yeah, man. They cracked down on all Rasta in Cuba. Because they arrest all the indigenous Cuban Rastas. And then all my brethren, they had about three Dominican brethren, they arrest them, man, cut their locks, put them in jail. The man spent about 3 years in jail. Yeah. So there are a lot of persecution of Rastafari. So I cannot love a place like that.
No.
And tell you, the policies of this was for the emperor. In fact, the man that support Mengistu, right? And they were more like, for me, like impersonators trying to represent the king still, So, and I now come in that person of his Imperial Majesty, and serious, and I serious. I cook my own. I don't eat. I don't drink. I don't eat them people think I don't smoke tobacco. I don't drink rum. I don't run prostitute. So I'm a Rastaman, right? So at the end of the day, Cuba wasn't a place whereby I could rate to say, well, when it comes to how they treat I people, was anywhere that was an honorable place.
Them could never conquer the mountains, thousands of years and counting. Ethiopia rise again unto the world. Now we are announcing. Them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. When the trumpet sound and the violence cease, how we say one go build up the cities. Well, them a plan for war, we a plan for peace. And now we see them wanna go dismantle the base. Ras Tafari crown as the Prince of Peace. Him tell the youths them fi build up them countries. Well, solar energy that them a see. The whole city powered by the sun's energy. The road them make out of hemp and concrete. Neighborhoods full of fruit trees that taste sweet. The youths put down them guns, them harvest and a reap. The beautiful gardens will line every street. Tired of the bloodshed, them done with the beef. Not even animals for dead, them burn out the meat. Where people say Haile Selassie, I see Nile. When they see say him a treat the dirt like a child. Peace on earth from the banks of the Nile. That's why we giving thanks in style. See say Babylon a weapon, them a stockpile. Babylon a wicked, kill them brother and smile. Lion, Babylon a reptile. Them a plant fish, shed blood, we got plans for the soil.